What is the simplest explanation for the reality that we are presented with daily? Today, we're going to take a look at how do we account for this world? How do we account for the universe? How do we account for our existence? How do we account for everything that we experience daily? My name is Brandon Fogal. This is Evolution. Now, despite what the name of the show might sound like, I do not believe in actual macroevolution in the sense that we evolved from apes. But a lot of people do believe that. A lot of people do believe that. My evolution is greater that I believe in. The evolution that we will experience as humanity in the hereafter. So today we are going to take a look at how do we account for this existence that we're experiencing. And I'm going to pull from, and we're going to look at this guy. His name is Occam. Occam, and we're going to look a little bit about his history. It's called Occam's razor, and it's the most simple explanation for something is usually the correct one. Occam's razor is a problem-solving principle, also known as the principle of parsimony, that suggests the simplest explanation for a phenomenon is usually the most likely to be correct. All right, and we're going to pull up, we're going to go to old faithful Wikipedia, and try to find out who is this guy, and who is this guy? We're just going to get a little bit of a history. Let me switch screens real fast. All right, Occam's razor, and I put the link in the description, but everybody knows what Wikipedia is. It's taken the world by storm. All right, William Occam, I guess it's William of Occam. He lived in 1287 and he died in 1347. He was an English Franciscan friar and theologian, an influential medieval philosopher, and a nominalist. His popular fame as a great logician rests chiefly on the maxim attributed to him and known as Occam's razor. And this is the main point. The term razor refers to distinguishing between two hypotheses, either by shaving away unnecessary assumptions or cutting apart two similar conclusions. All right, so how do we get down to the bare bones? And this is what I am theorizing, what I am postulating, what I am putting forward is the most simple explanation for our universe that we can count for is, I'm going to say it, the G word, God. God is the best explanation for everything that we experience daily and why we are here. It only makes it because I was thinking about this the other day. We overcomplicate things in life, in all aspects of life. We overcomplicate everything and we make things a lot harder than they should be. And I think when we think about just the purpose of life, the meaning of life, why we are here, because we didn't just choose to be born one day, but while we were here, the best, simple, natural explanation, I believe, is God. And we're going to look at four major points that I'm going to show that this is the reason for this, why God is the simplest, the best explanation, because we always talk about we're always searching for a higher life form. Something out there. There's got to be something. There's got to be aliens in the sky that are watching our lives. There's got to be something. There's got to be some simulation that we're plugged into. And the only way there's a simulation is if we're behind a screen somehow, and people are seeing, or something is watching us live out this existence, and we're just experiencing it in our senses, but we're actually just plugged in, and what we're experiencing is almost a hyper virtual reality. I mean, why we have this drive and this tendency that we love virtual reality, and we want to play games that are so real when the life in general is like the ultimate virtual reality. And that's why I mean, if I didn't believe in God, if I wasn't a Christian, I would fall back on the simulation. And in a sense, Christianity is kind of like a simulation. God planned everything ahead of time in advance. And we're just living out this book that he has written the script for. There's predestination. There's God ordaining everything. There's God's providence. It's the script, free will, God's sovereignty. How does this all go together? And so, I mean, simulation is what I'd fall back on if I wasn't a Christian. And it kind of is a simulation in a sense. But all right. If we want to remove all the complexity, let's go down to the bare bones of it. And I would say number one, to explain the existence of God, the complexity of the universe. That alone. And I've seen videos by someone I highly respect and I like and I enjoy watching, Alex O'Connor. I'm always watching his stuff. And him explaining and saying that the how the universe is together, that if we were only just one inch closer to the moon or the sun, and everything would fall apart, everything would dissolve, everything would just go to complete chaos. We would not be able to live, because that if the moon was so much further away, or we were so closer to the sun, or so far away, it's like we were in the pristine, perfect position. And he did something that has just baffled me. When he took that, because I look at that and I'm like, my God, how are we able to even walk around outside? How is rocks and everything just going chaos? How is this? It's just everything is just so perfect and settled, And he took it a different way. He said that, why would God, if God is real, why would he make it that way? Why would he put us on just the knife's edge that we could just fall off one way or the other? Why would he? And he flipped it. He flipped that whole argument, and the whole that did not make sense to me. But there is a complex nature in the universe, a very complex nature in the universe. I mean, you look at all the animals, you look at the stars, the cosmos, everything that is out there. It's just, there's so much to it, and just the intricate nature. We look at the vast expansion of the universe. It's just infinite. It seems like it just goes on forever. But then if you get to the microscopic level of our cells and the atoms of our bodies, the molecules, and somehow everything is just being held together. Somehow everything is just being put together. These molecules are just staying together for some reason. I'm not just turning into sand right before you, but I'm somehow staying a cohesive unit of a human being, and not just becoming nothing, just becoming wind and liquid, and just what is holding this all together? But because there are so many, our body is made up of these atoms and these molecules, the DNA of our body is just so intricately woven. And so it's there's the infinite that goes out beyond us, and then there's the infinite if we get in the microscope and put our eye in a microscope, that we just see it just goes almost into an infinite just chasm that just goes on forever. Because we think we got to the very bottom of it, but then we split the atom, and then there's all this other stuff. It's it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. That's why there's the infinite out, and then there's the infinite inward. All right, number 2, the universal moral law. I would say this, we all know we have something in our heart where we know things are wrong and we know things are good. And we all feel that. And say we live for thousands and thousands of years. People in general have always had this general understanding of what is morally right in the big things, the major things, the things that God has impressed on our heart. All of humanity agrees murder is wrong. All of humanity agrees that if you steal, it's wrong. Say somebody's walking down the road and you try to trip them, that would be wrong. That would be wrong. And that person would be like, what the heck are you doing, man? What's up? But say you accidentally tripped them, you didn't even mean to. They might be upset for a second, but they're like, oh, I get it. You didn't mean to. You didn't have an evil, some thought that pushed you into trying to mess up my day. We all understand there's something, whatever it is. And I battled through that before I became a Christian. And I can see it clearer now that I am a Christian, that the explanation is God has given us all. He has put some moral law on our heart where we know there is an ought. There is we should do something. We can't always agree to the smallest details. Some of the smallest details we can't agree on, and there's disagreement. God hasn't answered everything before us, but he's given us basic principles. And I would say just the fact that we have a moral law just demonstrates the God's existence. All right. Number 3, the experiences of the divine. Throughout human history, and even right now, all across the globe, everybody is trying this, and it manifests in so many different ways of humans trying to understand that there is something. We're reaching for something out there, and our best version of it. You've heard of the example of there's all these blind people, and they're standing by an elephant, and they're all grabbing a different part of the elephant. Some are grabbing the tail, some are grabbing the trunk, some are grabbing the feet, some are grabbing they're touching different parts of the elephant, and they're trying to understand, what is this? And that is their religion that is trying to make sense of this something that is out there. There's something that we can't see, but we're all trying to figure it out. So that there have been so many different people in history. That's why we have like so many different holy writings. I would say the only true holy writing is the Bible. But there is that innate nature that we are unstoppably religious. We are hyper-religious beings, and it's going to come out in some form or fashion. If you don't direct it to God, that there is a creator, he made you, and I'm going to live my life for him. If you don't direct it to that, you're going to direct that energy and that hyper-religious nature that you have inside of you. It's going to go towards something, whether it's your career, whether it's just money, whether it's pleasure, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever, all these things, anything, And it's not to say any of that stuff in itself is bad, but that's what the whole thing of idols, that's what an idol is. It's whatever you substitute and put in place of God, what that energy of your life, if you're directing it to this created thing, but you're not directing it to the one who created you. That's what that is. All right. And then the fourth and final reason, purpose and design. Like I said, there's chaos. Everything, it's chaos, and we understand there's the chaos nature of the universe. The jungle out there. If you go to the jungle and you see, like, we would see a tiger tearing up another animal right now, an antelope. There's a lion out there that's right now eating an antelope. The wildlife of our world is vicious. It's vicious, and it is. And it seems like that is just chaos. Like, why is that happening? That's not to say a tiger's doing anything wrong by eating a zebra. They're not doing anything wrong, but I would postulate and theorize that this is where you have to kind of get into the Christian fold. If we had not fell, because the Bible presents that we are in a world that is not as it was intended. This world right now that we are living in and we're experiencing is cursed. It's cursed. It's fallen. It's not what God intended. So those tigers, if before the fall, maybe they wouldn't have been eating the zebras. Maybe they would have been getting along a little bit better. And the Bible also says that at the end of time, it talks about in the future, I don't know the exact verse, what it says, like that the lion and the something will lie down together. The little child will play by the snake, the asp or whatever, like it calls it the cobra. There's going to be peace and harmony. And it's like there's this time period that we are living in that is just, it's chaos. But in all of it, we can understand and we can still see design. We can see the animal kingdom is built the way it is, at least still now, even though we're in a chaotic time. God has still made it so everything works together. You remove a bee from our ecosystem, and things start messing up. If you start removing something out of its natural habitat, for some reason there is design and cohesion between all of life, between humans, between animals out there. And we could say humans are animals, but in a sense, much higher than animals. And we're on a different. God made humans different than the animals. He made us so that we were to have dominion over all the animals. That's the way he made it. That's how the Bible lays it out. But and then finally, there is purpose and design, but there is purpose that we have in this life because we are all seeking it. Say that like everything in your life is going great and you're going towards whatever it is that you're striving towards. You want to build a great family. You want to build a great empire or career, whatever it is. But then say something happens in your life and you can't go after that career anymore. You lose your job. Maybe you lose a family member. There's so many different things in our life that if we don't have purpose, we need that, and we desperately crave that. We desperately crave purpose and significance. And I would say that apart from God, there is no purpose. There is absolutely no purpose whatever. And you could try to create your own purpose, but you're not going to get too far. And eventually it's going to crumble. I would say that the Bible presents that we have purpose. There is a reason why we're here. And our ultimate purpose is to glorify God and enjoy him forever, to have a relationship with him, to be with him, because our hearts are not going to be at peace until they are at peace with God. You're never, and so I have found that if I'm going my own way, and everybody out there, like, what is it like for you? Do you feel like, say you are not pursuing God, you don't believe in God, like, do you feel like you have purpose? And you might have purpose, but what is that? What is your purpose? Like, what is the reason you're here? And just in your mind, go throughout to the end, the logical end of what you are going towards. Whatever it is, it could be anything. It could be anything. What is the outcome of it? What is the final end of it? Are you and say you got that tomorrow and you had it? Would you be completely at peace and fulfilled, or would you just need to find something else? And once you've got that, are you going to just need something else? God, I think, is the answer, because we don't ever get to the end of God, and our hearts are always going to be at the most peace when we find our peace in him. He does not dissatisfy us. He's not going to be the one that's going to leave us high and dry, but he is going to ultimately, it says, at his right hand are pleasures forevermore. And it's like one day we are all going to wake up and we're going to see him. We're going to be staring at him face to face. And it's like, then we will have the ultimate purpose. Like we will see that all our lives was not meaningless. None of it was ever meaningless. And God was with us throughout it all, because, man, like, life can get dark. Life can get tough and dark. And if we are not anchored in purpose, and like, why are we doing the things that we're doing, we're going to be left in the dark. So those are my four main reasons why I believe the simplest explanation for our reality is God. So we'll leave it at that.